Hello guys and welcome back to the third round of Skopje Open. Today I'm having black pieces and I'm playing against young prodigy from Bulgaria. So I'm expecting London system and I still need to look in my preparation. There is still 1 hour until the game starts. So let's see what this game brings to us and see you guys in the post-game analysis. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to the round 3 of the Skopje Open. Today I lost again. Surprisingly to me, I was absolutely winning again, and I just don't have words to describe how it's painful to lose winning position. And not just that, I was dominating almost whole game, and in the late game I blunders and I make a equal end game, and then I was forcing the things, so on and so on, and I was just entering more risks. And I made a final blunder, just lost a piece because I was shocked from what position I came to some equal endgame, and then in equal endgame I just made a big blunder. Okay, as I told earlier, I was expecting London system, and it actually happened. I picked the very interesting line to surprise my opponent because, like, a lot of people are automatically developing the pieces standardly in the London system without thinking about, you know, what kind of setup I'm trying to make, like literally blitzing out the moves. So this also shows how my opponent is absolutely not experienced player in these systems. Knight f3, knight h5, and already he started thinking what to do. Okay, he played bishop g5, I played h6, bishop h4, g5, and his bishop is gone. As you see, engine is starting to like black slowly, but of course this is still equal. Bishop g7, bishop d3, e6, and now my idea is simple. I want to castle, I want to push f5, e5, like my king is absolutely safe on the king side. So my plan is going pretty much well as I prepared. Like preparations certainly are going very well, but the games are not going very well. You can see also from the first round I prepared nicely. Also second round I prepared nicely. This round I prepared so good. So my opponent played knight d2, knight from f to d2, and suddenly I cannot play any more ideas with f5 because I need to trade, and after take f5 is not possible. There is some queen h5, so knight f6 I played. Instead of knight f6 I should play e5 instantly, and that's what engine likes more. The reason why I didn't play e5 is because I remember one game where black played knight f6. I think it's Grandmaster Kadrich Dennis, and then he played e5 and then knight g4 with the idea of attacking the king and also just, you know, opening up the diagonal for the bishop. So this is simply much better for black, but instead of that, computer likes more e5 or c5, both of them. I played it early. I played it just in a few. I firstly put a knight here, and then after c3 I went castles. My opponent started taking so much, burning the time here, how he can attack me on the king side, but literally that's just like desperate searching moments for them. After f4 I think I have e5, and I think black can already be much better here, as you see. So the point is, if they take here, I think maybe knight g4 maybe I can just simply retake, or I can just play knight g4 threatening here. Queen takes g5 is on the way, rook e8, king is in center, and white is having a lot of problems. Instead of that, my opponent played g4 move, and I really like that to see, because pawn move is developing move only if supports the development. In this case, is this supporting development? Not. This only covers some squares, but it's not important in the moment. What is the biggest problem for white is that he needs to develop these other pieces. And also this knight natural square is here, but this knight took the place from that knight. On the other hand, placing the knight, like actually in the game on a3, this knight is then very, very sadly placed there, and white will feel it definitely, because my whole point is just to open up the center. Why? Because I have a bishop pair, and for bishop pair I need wide open diagonals. Okay, instead of c5, e5 was apparently much better move. But okay, I liked anyway c5. The reason why I didn't play e5 is because maybe my opponent have some ideas with bishop f5, and I don't know if he can maybe somehow manage to blockade the center and, you know, later focus on kingside. But even though this is just desperately searching for some counterplay, c5, and now my whole point is just to target the king, trying to open up everything, which I managed very quickly actually. Knight a3, and here is the moment where I managed to take, and after take e5. So simply I'm attacking on g4, searching for rook e8. I want to take on d4, and you know, I have double threat to open e line and to take on g4, and actually opening the e line is a threat because then if I check the king can't go in castle properly. E takes, of course I'm not gonna take back on e5, I'm gonna take on g4. Why? Because I'm putting the pressure here, still wanna maybe retake here and just get a pawn. Also queen b6 with the idea of this and this. Rook e8 is coming, also opening the bishop. Like, I mean, this is just a dream position for black. And even after all of this passivity from my opponent, he still decides to play with pawns. So he's literally playing 5 pawn moves and 1 bad move with a knight in a row. And once I look it again in this position, it's really painful to imagine that this position is lost by black. Like, look at it, look at the bar, look at the position. It's absolutely, you know, not possible to lose in dreams, but you're gonna see how I lost. Rook e8 check, and I was expecting honestly bishop e2 in order at least to castle later, but still they're gonna have some problems with, as you see, knight h2, queen h2 ideas. So my opponent started playing king f1, which I was really surprised about that. Here I could just take on d6 and play normally without anything to worry about. Like, I want to play bishop e6 later, rook from a to d8, just normal development, maybe knight e5, or then placing again queen on b6 or c5 to threaten this and this. But instead of that I went queen b6, which is also good. It's also the best move in the position. Now the only move for my opponent is queen f3 to defend checkmate, otherwise there is no any other move. If knight comes on e4, I can just sacrifice the rook because my threat is big actually to target f2. Queen f3, queen takes b2. I could still take on d6, but I decided to take this pawn, and after knight c2, the only one thing that I didn't see here, which is immediately losing for white, knight e5. The point is fork and threatening this. So if they move the queen somewhere like this, not really threatening anything, I moved my rook, so I have always the gap for my king. My bishop is doing great defense. After this, I can just simply take on c3, double attack on these two pieces. Queen h7 is desperate, searching for checkmate, but king f8, and now they're lost. Black is winning. So this is the only thing I missed, and if knight e5 and they play something like queen g3, I don't know. I can't take here now because there is bishop h7, but I can at least take on d3, and after queen takes d3, oh no, this move of course. If queen takes d3, now, you know, like maybe I can just simply take on c3 with my queen, and I mean this endgame is absolutely winning for me, like no doubts. Like double attack, bishop pair, this pawn is weak, gonna develop my piece here, rook d8, rook c8, collect this pawn and finish the game. Like if I saw it, the game would be much earlier ended. This will be another miniature in the London system, but I continue with queen c3, which is also good, of course, no doubts. Knight e4, but now I'm allowing some counterplay to my opponent, and later on, after making a very bad decision in pushing some pawns, I open up my king so much and I got in a problem. Still black is fine, but as you see, the advantage is little, small by small, going down. Little by little. Rook b1, stepping away from the target. Bishop e6, even giving up this pawn. just want to develop my pieces quickly. I'm not really looking into any kind of tactics, like literally doesn't exist. I'm trying to play on the bad king. And yeah, this is another move that surprised me, that my opponent is really looking into grabbing all my pawns, and like his moves from the 10 move of the game until this 22 move in the game is literally just pushing the pawns, eating the pawns, wasting time, and doing nothing. And my play is just getting worse and worse. I played here move f5. So never ever play this move in practice. This is complete disaster for your king. Opening the lines, weakening all these squares around, getting the diagonals possibility for the attack in the future. I just regret it later when I push it. But in the moment this move looks very good because I'm looking to simplify with knight e5, just wanted to close up this diagonal. The reason why I didn't play knight e5 immediately is because after knight f6 check, I can't take. There is, I think, queen takes f6. Okay, white bar is not going crazy for some reason. And now this is a threat. How do I defend against this? I don't see the defense, but apparently here actually exists. In the previous line where I could play here knight e5 without rook b7, for some reason here it's working for white, and bishop f6 is a blunder because now this is coming. But in the previous scenario I don't really want to search why is that possible to defend, but even if I know, I would not be able maybe to find, must be some crazy move. But I don't want this, of course. Like, imagine the position that we had 10 moves ago and this position. This is just disgusting. So yeah, like bishop e6, rook takes b7, f5, and after knight g3 I played queen d2, maybe the only move that keeps some pressure. Queen e2, I didn't see this move, but then I found it that this move is maybe the only move for white if he wanna stay in the game. My threats are big. I wanna queen c1, I wanna knight e5, my king is very safe. My opponent was desperately searching for something like rook takes g7 and knight h5, but even in this moment I think I have king f8, or I can even play king g6. Like, all these moves are good and just winning. There is nothing to do. Queen takes g4 looks good because it's pinned, but I can just simply take on d3 and finish the game. I still have queen c1 ideas, so yeah, I mean, this is just losing for white. So instead of that, they trade off the queens, and now I didn't understand that taking on e2 was much better for me than playing queen c1 and then taking on c1 on e1 the queen. I played queen c1, and then because I think maybe let's position the knight back on e1, he will be passive, but instead of that I should take on e2, and now I should play some rook ac8 move, because with tempo I'm getting access over the c1 square. d7 doesn't do anything, I can just take, and now take on c2, putting the pressure here. I'm not pieced down, I want to play f4, bishop is on the way in future somewhere here. This pawn is not really hanging on a7 because always bishop d4 is there. This rook is passive, this knight is restricted, needs to watch out for this bishop, and yeah, this is just bad. I didn't see that, honestly. I thought that queen c1 for some reason is better. Apparently this is mistake, and here white managed to equalize after queen e1, queen takes c1, knight takes c1. So here after this thing happened, after all this counterplay, I start playing like a patzer. So this is just like getting worse and worse for me. At least I try to trade the good rook for passive rook, which is obviously good. My opponent finds solid move d7, rook f8, then he went for simplification. The reason why is because he wanted to, when he takes on f5, he wanted to protect indirectly the d7 pawn, which actually he did. And here I saw some simplification, which bishop takes, knight takes, rook d8, but I didn't like the move f3, honestly, where I'm losing my h6. pawn. So in this position I didn't see any kind of motive how I can play for win as black, so that's why I didn't go in this line. I start risking with bishop c4. King g1 apparently is the best move. My opponent didn't play it. He played knight to d3, which is not good move at all. This gives me some things to play. Knight e5. The only move is king e2 to protect. And now I decided to take with bishop, and then I play the move rook b2 check. So this is still equal, but white has to be careful, because knight g4, and now he needs to really watch out where he puts the king. The only square is here, which actually happened in the game. Then I start repeating the moves, and I could take on d7, but why I didn't? Because I saw rook b1, simplification, and now I need to exchange, and this will be a draw. But I wanted more, of course. So sometimes we need to accept the moments in the game, even though we make a big mistake and it's a draw. We can't risk, we cannot force. We are not playing for gold medal or something. A rook a2 is obvious blunder. There is bishop c4, looks obvious, but please don't blunder this. I blundered something similar, by the way, in the game. I played bishop f6. This is another very, very big, okay, not blunder, but very big mistake. I thought bishop f5 is like good for white, but like not that much good as computer shows. But apparently I don't have a move now. If I play king to g7 to protect h6, there is knight h5, collects my bishop and promotes the queen. I did knight c4 check. My opponent went king to e4, and here I thought I can do something. Apparently I was blundering after rook takes f2, and now this is just collapsing for me. I completely missed this. You see how the things are getting worse and worse. So instead of that, I should just repeat the moves with knight g4, king f3, knight e5. If my opponent suddenly goes in the center, that's something I want. Knight takes, not threatening here, and yeah. Okay, he has this check. I will move my king somewhere, I don't know, maybe on h7. And after that, like if he puts the rook into the game, this is very different. And I wanted this to happen, because at least I can play for something here. Like, yeah, position is absolutely equal, but you know, he's low on time, I'm low on time, so maybe we can make something work. Instead of that, bishop f6, and yeah, after rook takes f2, it's just over. I just completely missed this. Like, this is so bad. And now, as you see here, I desperately tried to do something. Even here my opponent took on a6, but even here bishop takes, rook takes e7, sacrifice, and king c7, beautiful motive. There is no rook c4, they're gonna promote a queen. If I play rook f8, there is knight f5, distracting the king or rook. If I move the king up, they're gonna promote. If I take the knight, they're gonna promote anyway. So even this is winning. And yeah, the moment of resignation was a little bit later. I was so shocked here and in so much pain that I couldn't resign from what I went. But you know, we need to accept the things and continue playing, of course. Rook d6, yeah, I don't have any idea to save my pieces. At least if I can save the rook and bishop, I would try maybe to defend this, which is also losing, but you know, that's it. Like you see, from completely winning position, absolutely winning position actually, somewhere around king f1, yes. Like I could take on d6, continue normally, even though what I played in the game, queen b6, and later on I had the move knight e5 here, already winning. Yeah, I mean, you see how the things can get wrong. So yeah, I will still make the videos, lose or not, definitely, because I promised. So doesn't really matter who I play. So just to see how the things works on tournaments. Yeah, maybe not the really good tournament for me, but okay, never mind, at least you can learn something from my mistakes. Okay, that's it for today, and thank you for watching. Thank you for following this tournament. And yeah, you can leave a comment, you can leave a like, of course, if you like this type of content. And that's it. See you tomorrow.